Welcome back. I was just live a few minutes ago, actually. Excuse me. Oh. To put together my new watercolor set and do some swatches. And now I'm obviously wanting to do something with it. And I thought I'm gonna do like a basic exercise that I saw from Rebel Unicorn Crafts. Go check her out on Instagram. She's fantastic, and she does a lot of like very simple, especially watercolor journal exercises that are just basic. And I saw one that's a lot of just squiggly lines, and I thought that would be fun to both practice my brush control, but at the same time also play with the colors and just have some fun. When you do play with different colors that are potentially running into each other, but maybe not, I think it's always kind of important to make sure that you're not creating a bunch of mud, and making sure that the colors go together. So I have this little cool color wheel keychain from the Gray Muse on Etsy. It's really fun. And I'm thinking I'm going to use triadic colors. And so the triadic colors are the three that are here. There are three related colors on the color wheel. And the most common ones are primary colors, blue, red, and yellow, or triadic colors. But I can move this and make them like different hues, like for example orange, purple, and green. And I think I'm gonna go with something like a yellow, pinkish magenta, and a light blue. Maybe make it a little tealy, like something like in between. So I'm gonna mix my colors. Let's get the palette wet again. Okay. I am not a pro, but if you do have questions, just ask. And I'm thinking I'm gonna use, I have a size, I don't have a lot of brushes. I have a size 4 and a size 8. Ideally, I think for the size of this paper, maybe a 6 would be great, but I'm just gonna use the 8. Can hold my water and such. So I said I'm gonna do like a light blue, but I want it to be a little bit more teal. These are brand new, so they need a little bit more time to soak up some water. Also, this plastic here is not great. Anyway, just learning things about this new palette. So I'm just loading a little bit of color over here. Ooh, just got some green in there, which I guess I want to put green in there anyway, but maybe not in the palette. Making sure I get some water in between. These are very close together, so it's really difficult to keep these separate. I'm struggling. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have enough pigment of that. And then let's see. I'm thinking I want to mix in a little bit of green to make it a little bit more teal. Not much, just a bit. Yeah, that was almost more than I maybe wanted. It's more green now, so put more blue in. Yeah, maybe even a little bit more blue. I'm having a hard time with this palette, so I think it's anyway, there we go. That's great. I want to pre-mix the colors so that I can then just go for it. And then the other color would be sort of like a magenta, so why not start with purple and then add in some red. Oh yeah, this is the better background here for mixing. Purple, and then we'll add in some light red and see if we can arrive at, okay, this one's nice and wet. Oh no, blue, darn. Yeah, this is probably starting out almost too dark already, but it gives me a nice burgundy color, which I'm perfectly happy with too. Probably need to start out in the other direction, go from red into blues rather than trying to go up. That makes much more sense actually now that I think about it, but you know what, whatever. Okay, I just added a little bit of water to make it a little bit less thick, and then my water's already so dirty. Hold on. Some water from earlier, so I definitely have to be like much more wise when I mix colors, because that water does not last very long. Okay, well, and then lastly, what are we doing? Like a yellow? Like a, maybe we'll start with the lighter one this time. Trying to get some pigment out without messing up the whole palette. There we go. Make sure to say hi in the chat if you're hanging out, so I can know you're there. And if you're watching the replay, say hi anyway. I'm going to use my dirty water first to wash out most of the pigment, and then this water is not fully clean, but mostly clean. And then what do we mix in? Do we want to get into a little bit of orange? Probably mute it a little bit based on these two colors, huh? Should I just put in a little red? Ooh, peach. Ooh, I like it. Ooh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go back a little bit into yellow. Make it a little bit more yellow again. So I've got more orange than I wanted, but I like the peach. Okay, there we go. And now we'll just make some squiggly lines. We'll start with a thin line. And as you can tell, this guy was loaded with water, but I don't mind that, because what's going to happen is the colors are going to blend together. At least assuming I'll be fast enough with my other colors. I'm going to do a little cheating. Pick up some of that and then just set it sort of next to it. Let it touch in some areas and not in others. It's got very watery. And I love when watercolors blend. I do, truly. So I'm happily letting them. However, I'm also thinking I don't want to have all of it blend. So I'm sort of trying to see where this can take me. Just, let it do its thing. This blue color I made here is not pigmented at all, which is really annoying. I'm not sure. It might be like both the palette isn't super great for mixing, but also I'm trying not to mess up the pans yet, since it's new. And then also I think this brush is probably not super awesome. So, there's just a mixture of things going on. I'm washing out a lot of pigment too, which I'm feeling like I shouldn't have to. I want that pigment on the palette. But whatever, it doesn't matter. I literally have no rhyme or reason with this. I'm just going for it. Oh, I love how the orange and the red are blending together here. It looks really pretty. Just realized I just totally took a different color, but that's fine. And see how I'm doing like some that are touching some areas and some areas that are not, and yeah, just sort of letting it go with the flow, trying not to put the same color next to each other twice. That's sort of my own rule, my only rule, but even that is not a fixed rule. This is fun to see too how the paper reacts. Since this is a new journal as well. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy apparently. So I'm like sniffling probably right into the microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, what do we need more of? How about this? I'm seeing if I can just drop in a little more color here. I kind of like the aqua, but I also feel like I want more pigment. Okay, I'm gonna mix a little bit more of this since I'm running out again, and I'm gonna try and see if I can actually just, you know, make that a little darker. Trying to suck the pigment out of here as much as I can, but I am definitely struggling with that. And I wonder how much that has to do with the brush. It's a brand new brush. I just bought it yesterday and I don't know what I'm doing, so I probably bought the wrong brush. Alrighty. It's a very dark green version of what I just had before, so I'm gonna put a little bit more of that lighter blue in there, and then I'm hoping yeah, here we go, go in the right direction. If you're just stopping in, I am testing out new materials that I got, new supplies, that's the word, art supplies. Aha. I got this new palette like a travel palette and a new watercolor journal just to kind of play around with. And so I'm just playing with these supplies here and trying to see what I can do and what I can make with them. I'm just doing a very basic, simple watercolor exercise. Just making these little ribbons down my page. And I got the idea from an Instagram account I follow. Her handle is Rebel Unicorn Crafts. She's got a bunch of like simple but absolutely impactful, wonderful watercolor exercises and designs and tips, and it's worth checking her out if you want to learn, or if you're into watercolors just in general, or you know, if you just want to get some inspiration. I think she's pretty awesome. I think this needs some blue. What do you guys think? Like some actual blue, like some real life blue. There we go. Way too much water on my brush too. As I mentioned before, this is something I'm learning. Control the amount of water in relation to the amount of pigment I have on my brush, which I really am not very good at. But that's why I'm doing this stuff. You know, at least now I can recognize that that's what the issue is, which before I could not. Straight up didn't understand why would something be happening one way and not the other. So now I know what the issue is. I haven't figured out quite how to fix it yet, but I'll get there eventually. So now I'm like basically just filling in spaces. Oh, that was more red than I needed. Yeah, it's also like I am super used to working on really large palettes where I have space to mix and just can like sort of move from one color to the other without an issue. And I'm having to like learn to restrict myself, and it's hard. It's not easy. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm positively surprised by how well the paper is holding up, to be honest. I was a little skeptical because it's such a cheap watercolor journal notebook thing. I was a little worried it would, you know, not hold up or not be super awesome. But it's actually working pretty well. I'm now just filling in the gaps because fun. Okay. My water, both of my water containers are now so dirty. I really need to learn to get better at that. Does anybody remember what I did here? Oh, I think it was purple. And I mixed in red. Oh my goodness. So much water. Here we go. Maybe a little more red. Let's use some of this. Too much, huh? Oh my goodness, kid. It's fine, we'll just use this now. And we'll fill in the remaining gaps. There we go. Oh. I'm just gonna fill the rest of this with blue, and there we go. What a fun squiggle. I'm gonna enhance this a little bit, but for that to work, I'm gonna need to have it dried first. So I can use the water I have, but I do want to make it dry, so hang on, I'm just gonna mute this and go get my heat gun and dry it. Oh God, I had my camera muted the whole time. My camera on my microphone. Oh my goodness. What I was saying, this is a little koi water palette, and these are very neon. Otherwise, it's a great palette. It's just very neon, so I'm actually liking the sort of more standard color palette over here for traveling better. But what this one has is it has those metallics in it. So I just used that little bronze down here with a size 4 round brush to add some little highlights into my squiggly lines. And, you know, here we go. There it is. Fun. I really love how bright the colors are. They're super bright and pigmented, which is amazing. And I want to try something else. I want to try a wash, specifically so I can see the paper, so like a wet on wet. But I think I'm going to do that in a separate stream just so I can break it up more easily for the recordings. Also, I just messed this one up. So, yeah. I will probably see you momentarily once I've cleaned this up and got ready to do another page in this journal.